This was anointed the best small library in America. Today, the trustees are facing a recall.
What I hate to see is my community torn apart like this.
The director just resigned.
Do you feel that you've given in? That you've been defeated here? That
part of me does, yes. But they start showing up at your house, guns on their hips and Bible tracts in their hands.
Activists demanding that the library ban more than 400 books, like genderqueer.
Even if we do nothing to you, eventually, if you don't repent of wanting to harm our children with pornography, that's up to God.
Things need to change. Otherwise, you bring curses upon yourselves, period. From the Most High.
are any of those books in the library?
Not a single one.
Still, this little library might not survive.
Our insurer has decided to non-renew for what they're saying is increased risk exposures. We can't operate without insurance.
We bumped into one of the people pushing the recall, taking out books to see if they should also be banned.
If I take someone else's word, that's not good, right?
There you go. Exactly.
She refused to talk to us. In fact, everyone on that side of the argument we reached out to refused to talk to us. But one of them did explain her motivation at a library board meeting. They are now held here because so many people were showing up to the meetings, so many of them were armed, that they moved the library board meetings to a bigger building that is also right next to the sheriff's department.
Here is that one woman's motivation.
My job is to protect our kids from sexual deviance who will be drawn to our library if inappropriate sexual material is on our library shelves and using our kids as prey.
This week, we showed up with our cameras to a board meeting.
It was wonderful to not be, like, attacked.
And the would-be book banners did not.
There's some boring meetings.
So what is going on, Nick, is there is a group of individuals that are moving into the area who they have the intent of turning this into what they call the American Redoubt.
Coined back in 2011 by a Christian survivalist, the American Redoubt, a refuge for self-described, God-fearing, liberty-loving patriots. This store opened recently, owned by a pastor who moved up from California. Here's how he described it back in 2015.
If we will put him first, blessed will be the redoubt. By God's grace, we trust that the redoubt, we won't see the homosexuality and rampant lesbianism that we see in California.
There are now so many wannabe redoubters, some realtors cater to them. One has this ad on its website.
In the days of old, the men would lead, women would nurture.
The Aryan nations, for a long time they were headquartered in this part of Idaho, they had a similar plan, but for a whites-only homeland. Many locals fought against that. Today, many locals are fighting against the redoubters and the book banners.
They've been going to library board meetings and yelling and screaming at people. And we're here being very quiet and very polite. We're having a read-in in support of the library.
The resistance here in Bonners Ferry is a coalition of liberals and conservatives.
This is a pretty conservative,
very conservative
Christian community.
Very so.
And a lot of people here voted for President Trump.
Very much so.
Most folks around here voted for Trump in 2016. Even more voted for him in 2020. But
this goes beyond any conservatism and into almost Nazism, where they're trying to force their own ideas and their own religious concepts on everybody else. That's not America.
We spoke to the former mayor, who voted for Trump, and he's on the same side as liberal people here.
Well, of course. Yeah, we're neighbors.
City Councilwoman Val Thompson's family has been here 5 generations.
One of my friends had somebody tell him the other day that the American Redoubt is here and it might be time for you to exit.
There are politicians like this running and winning.
I'm talking about really raunchy stuff in these kids' books for 7-year-olds. Hopefully you have secured your local elections. You need a good sheriff and you need 3 county commissioners.
There are claims that critical race theory is being taught in schools, and
we had one mom come in and say, this has Black Lives Matter themes.
Did it?
Well, it's a fairy tale by Chris Colfer, so it probably has, people of color in the book.
On that list of books that was given to the library, I saw Who Was Frederick Douglass?
Right.
Why is that an issue?
Well, I haven't read Who Was Frederick Douglass, but I'm assuming that there was something in it that was offensive or made somebody feel guilty for being white. I have no idea.
As I've said, it's not in the library. Neither is genderqueer, but...
The conflict is that I cannot say we will not get them, because if we're a library, if the public comes and requests those books, we will get those books. That's what we do.
They say they are not censors, that this library must serve everyone.
And Nick joins us from that library in Idaho right now. So Nick,